Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life.W.Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat, but before we get into all of that, if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. If you are new to my channel or you are unfamiliar with what a WIP Chat is, a WIP Chat, WIP, W-I-P stands for work in progress. And I will be working on my current WIP, which is Sweet Summertime by CuteButWeird. It is a Muni-made kit. If you would like to see the unboxing for this, I'll leave that up in the eye. But you can work on whatever it is that you want to be working on. It can be another craft project. It can be a household project. It could be while you are doing chores, while you're running errands, while you are cooking, while you are doing laundry, while you're working, while you're driving. Pretty much however you want to do it. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. If you are listening while you are driving or working or whatever, you can use it like a podcast. I'm trying to figure out a good spot to open up this plastic tube. This is a cute little kit. I wanted to do this over the summer, but summer had different plans for me. So I decided to start it on the day that we had the first snow. So here we are. I hope that you guys are all well. It has been a week. It has been a long week. It has been... November is flying by. December is right around the corner. Ooh. I have so much content to put up. I've got I put up a post review when you guys are seeing this yesterday for Mrs. Sid or Cursed. If you'd like to see that, I will link that up in the eye. I have the Oraloa post review. I did film that. I'm not sure if anybody's really interested in it or not. I asked and only one person answered. So shout out to you. But I have a couple more unboxings to go. I just have a lot going on. I have a lot going on at the moment. But this week has been, as I said, an eventful week. We are gearing up here. My kiddo is about to be on winter break. Not winter break. Fall break. Thanksgiving break. Whatever they call it officially. I'm just going to put this piece of release paper down so I can put my tray. I'm kind of out of frame. I'm also really scrambling right now, which is super great because if I record for approximately an hour, which is what I usually do for my WIP Chats, I will have quite literally just minutes to get out the door and get my kiddo from school. Today is a half day, which I get it, okay? They had parent-teacher conferences one day last week, and the rest are today. And so they have them starting this afternoon. Great, cool. But why are we doing a half day today and a half day tomorrow? Why not just do a full day today and then off tomorrow? And maybe they could have parent-teacher conferences all day tomorrow instead. I don't know. All I know is that I'm a little bit annoyed, rightfully so, in my opinion. Our kiddo is, so our girl is in first grade. And like I mentioned, they had them last week one day, and then they have them today. Well, we wanted to do the time frame last week because then my husband, it worked with his work schedule. He didn't have to miss anything. He didn't have to change anything. Like, it just would have worked. I went in to sign up for these parent-teacher conferences within seconds of it opening, and they were already completely booked. And I'm like, so, as you guys may or may not know by now, on once a month, I go to my local craft night, and that is in real time tonight. So, typically, I go to craft night, and then I go out to eat and grab a bite with Erica from Kevin's Creations afterwards. This is just kind of our routine. Well, because the only time we could get was tonight, my husband has to pick me up from craft night, so no dinner, which is fine. You know, it sucks, but, like, I'll survive, you know. And then we have to basically, like, hightail it over to the school But then I was like, when are we supposed to have dinner? Because we don't have enough time between when craft night ends and her parent-teacher conference starts. So he's like, well, I'll just take her to McDonald's on the way to picking you up. And I'm like, okay, that's great, but what am I going to eat? If you guys did not know, and I am not saying this because I'm like above fast food, but I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat chicken and I don't eat hamburgers. So unless I want to have like a McFlurry and French fries for dinner, which let's face it, the McFlurry machine's probably broken. I don't know what I'm supposed to be eating. I guess that's not really a concern. So, yeah, it's just, like, her parent-teacher conferences last year, I got in the second the link went live, and I was able to get not just the day that I wanted, but, like, the exact time frame that I wanted. So it is a little bit frustrating that not only could I not get the day I wanted, but I also couldn't get a time that I wanted. And part of me wonders if her teacher didn't have spots available for that first day, because she is also a parent in the school district, and I'm assuming she needed time to be able to go to her own kid's parent-teacher conference. But that's pure speculation. So today is a half day, and I know that they do it this way because it still marks on the calendar that these kids are getting a full day of school. Like, not a full day, but it counts as a day, which is why some schools are more inclined to do a 2-hour delay or an early dismissal for snow as opposed to just a snow day. Because I think the kids have to be on school grounds for like 2 hours for it to count as like a day. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just show up. So anyway, super long story short, I got to pick my kid up immediately after this. And then we have plans. There is that wax? It might be wax. Anyway, I hope that you guys are all well. Did everybody have a lovely weekend? We had a very eventful weekend. Our kiddo turned 7, which I'm still kind of in denial that I have a 7-year-old. I was talking to my dad, and he's like, it feels like just yesterday she was born. I was like, you're telling me. For those who don't know, my kiddo was born on Thanksgiving. Her birthday is not on Thanksgiving this year. And she was born on Thanksgiving, and I had my parents and his mother and my brother at our house. And I was due a week later, and during my entire pregnancy, because if you don't know, you're not supposed to eat deli meat, because you're more susceptible to listeria, which is when you're pregnant. Anyway, at that time, I was like, well, we need to be getting smoked turkey from the barbecue joint because I can eat that. And so when Thanksgiving came around, I said, I don't care how big the turkey is. I don't care how much it costs. That's what I want. So we made it happen. My husband made all the side dishes. We ordered this giant turkey from our barbecue place. And he was getting all the side dishes together. He installed the car seat during a little break that he had. And I definitely started going into labor. I was like, okay. So I was keeping track of everything. And I, at one point, said to him, all right, so we should go to the hospital. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was keeping track of my contractions. And they were getting closer and closer and closer. These are all signs that baby is coming. So I got to the hospital, and I'm not saying this to be boastful for anyone who had a very long labor. 29 minutes after I got to the hospital, my child was laying on my chest, and this was 15 minutes before our Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody ate my turkey, and I was sad that I wasn't going to get it and not spend Thanksgiving with our families, but I was very happy that we had this new addition. And here we are 7 years later, and I still like turkey from that barbecue joint, by the way. But yeah, it was very memorable in many ways because I had a baby on a holiday that I was surrounded by my family. And of course, nobody thought I was going to have a baby super quickly, so they all, relaxed at the house, which is fine. I did find out like a whole year later, actually like 13 months later, that there was a plumbing issue, and it was described to me as a scene out of I Love Lucy. I have a dual sink, and I have a garbage disposal on the one side, and so they were putting stuff down the drain on the one side, and water was shooting out the other, but nobody wanted to tell me this because, you know, I was in the hospital and having a baby, or had just had the baby, and instead, nobody told me that there was, like, a major plumbing issue. And, I had to replace all my kitchen plumbing, like, shortly after the year mark in our house when the home warranty was no longer, so that was frustrating. Yeah, fun fact, the builder hooked the hot water line up to the dishwasher, and you're not supposed to do that, apparently, and, there were some other issues that was causing that fun little bit of shenanigans on Thanksgiving that I missed because I was busy having a baby. So anyway, it's been nice. This year, her birthday was before Thanksgiving, which, her birthday is always within a few days. It's so far in her life, it has always been within a few days of Thanksgiving. So it was nice that we could plan something. Last year, she was really bummed because she's like, we didn't get to do anything on my birthday. And I was like, Briar, your birthday was on Thanksgiving last year. We spent your birthday with family. We spent it with my family and my husband's family. And I'm like, what do you... I can't change that. And so as a little kid, like, I know it's hard because she always wants birthday parties, but doesn't understand that birthday parties are really hard when your birthday is the same week as a holiday where a lot of people travel out of town. Yes, we could do her birthday celebration on a different day, but instead, this year, we decided to do something super special with her. So I'll tell you guys all about that here in a minute, but it has been a bit of chaos around here. I think I mentioned it in my last WIP Chat. My kiddo is skating in 2 nutcrackers. So, at 2 different rinks. We did the nutcracker last year at one rink, and it's intense. And it's exactly what you would think of with, like, it's the same nutcracker that they do in ballet. So, the kids have quick changes, they have costumes, they do all of this, except for it's just on ice. So, my daughter is in 2 numbers at the one rink. I think the other rink is also 2 numbers. So she has to learn choreography for 4 different pieces. And we are doing 1 lesson a week at each rink for that on top of our regular private lessons. And on top of that, she's also skating in the winter showcase. This will be our 3rd showcase that we're skating in. We're not, she is. And last year's winter showcase was the first time she got to do her program in front of anyone, and she absolutely loved it. And then this past spring, we did the spring showcase as well as the Hollywood showcase, something or other, spring show. And then this will be her 2nd winter and her 3rd overall. So I actually asked her coach, I said, hey, do you think that next year we could actually, you know, do it to, like, some Hanukkah music? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I don't let them for their first one. And I don't think she realized, it's not a big deal, but this is not our first of the winter showcases. But that's exciting that next year she has that possibility. Because right now, her and the other little girl that she skates with, they're both doing their program music to the winter showcase instead of holiday music. So it's a bunch of Christmas music, like one random just winter-esque song, and then our girls. But I'm excited for her. It's just a lot. It is a lot of shuffling back and forth. It is a lot of hair and makeup. It is a lot of ice skating. It is just a lot. And then you have the days where we have the practices. The dress rehearsal is 2 hours long. The performance is 2 hours long. We're at the rink for 5 hours that day. It is a lot. And I'm, you know, obviously trying to make it through everything with a smile because it's It's one time a year that they do this, but now I need to coordinate and make sure that anybody who wants to come has all the information that they have, can get the tickets, all of the fun stuff. And I'm already tired, and it's not even December. So if I seem a little out of it for December, that's why. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. And I do this to myself because, you know, I signed her up for both. She really wanted to sign up for a local community theater program that is starting in January. But unfortunately, it is the exact same time as her one ice skating sessions. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to give that up. It's not giving it up. It would just be like swapping it for, you know, this session and picking it back up next session. But the problem is she's gearing up for competition season. We have to get this down. And I don't think her coach is going to just take too kindly to us dropping the lesson that she gets the most out of in terms of group lessons. But last week, we missed a friend's birthday recently. We were having some issues at home that we weren't able to resolve and get out the door. Some health stuff, and she's fine, but we missed the birthday party. So I said, well, why don't we bring the gift to your friend's house? Well, we did, and I didn't realize that was her actual birthday. So it worked out. It was really nice. And they live near one of the playgrounds that we like to go to. So we just went and played at the playground for a little bit afterwards. And I'm there, and there's an older couple, presumably the grandparents. I don't want to assume that, but that would be my hunch. And they said to me, oh, hey, I would avoid the one slide. There's a bunch of bees on it. Oh, okay. You know, I'm not trying to have my kid get stung by bees. Ugh, you just have that where you mess up, like, laying the drills down. Anyway, I went over and I saw them, and I let my kiddo know, like, hey, you know, we're going to just avoid this. And she said, okay. So I went back to the couple, and I said to them, do you know who owns and operates this playground? I know it is affiliated with the public pool, but it is November, so the pool is not open. And they said, oh, I think there's a number for maintenance on the door. Oops, sorry. And I'm thinking to myself, so you know that this is happening, and you know that there's a phone number on the gate, but you didn't bother to call and report it? So I did. And it's not that I think I'm like a good Samaritan or anything like that. Like, I feel like this is pretty normal stuff. If you know that there are bees all over children's equipment at the playground, like, you have a responsibility to make sure that it's safe. And if you can't do that, then you contact the people who are supposed to be in charge of it. Now, I didn't go back and check to see if anything was taken care of or anything like that. But I was just like, damn, like, I know that we live in a society where people are much more comfortable, you know, being the bystander, but it wasn't that hard to just make a phone call. And I know there are going to be people out there who say that making phone calls are so stressful to them and all these things, but they didn't say that to me. They didn't say, would you mind making the phone call? It's just a lot of pressure for us to do it, or whatever. And nobody answered because, again, it's connected to the pool and the pool's not open. So I left a voicemail. Hopefully that was taken care of. But of course, every family that came on the playground afterwards, we let them know, hey, just so you know, there's bees. And this one little kid's like, I think those are actually whatever kind of wasp. And I was like, oh, okay. Still don't want the kids playing with it, whatever it is, bee, wasp, hornet, you know, butterfly, whatever, you know. But yeah, it was frustrating. But my kiddo likes going to that playground, and usually it's very difficult to get her to leave, but the transition wasn't too bad that day, so that was good. I'm trying to see if I have any more of that color before I put it away, because inevitably I will do that and then find what I'm looking for. Anyway, so we did that, and then we had to do some errands together. The next day, my kiddo had school, grabbed some dinner with my husband. There is a Greek restaurant near us, and they have this dip trio. My husband and I, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names at all, but obviously we're getting hummus in it. But I shouldn't say obviously, because the hummus isn't always like the one that we're craving the most. But we always get this, I almost said peanut butter, Jesus, Lindsay, potato dip that called Scordelia. That's delicious. Now, my daughter, keep in mind, she just turned 7. Her favorite is the spicy feta. And I mean, it is so much her favorite that she requests a container to go whenever we're there, like to eat at home as well. I'm like, girl, you relax, child. So that was fun. I was like, listen, if you guys ever need somebody to do a commercial for you about your spicy feta, she's your girl. Which, fun fact, so if you guys didn't know, I don't share her image on social media. Like, yes, I know it's out there. It exists. There are some times that I have made an exception for certain things. But in general, I don't post her. And if we do, we post her from behind or at an angle where her face is obstructed. So she was sitting in my room or downstairs or wherever, and she was talking about something food-wise. And she was describing it, and I was like, you know, you're really good at that. Maybe when you get bigger, you could do your own little, like, food reviews. So she wants to skate for Disney on Ice as an adult, which I think is totally feasible. And I said, you know, you could do it where whenever you're traveling on tour, that you could take a stop and check out something that that city's known for or whatever and make your own little food show. And she's like, I would love that. And it is funny. I know she watches a lot of like food reviews with my husband too, but it is just funny to watch this little kid describe food, and it's not like, oh, this was delicious. You know, she does a really good job, and it's really sweet. And so who knows what she'll do one day in the future, but I'm here for it all, whatever it is. And, you know, hopefully she'll be able to be like the Disney on Ice food critic. That'd be fun if she could do that. And just for fun, you know, not anything serious, but it's funny just how watching her with her palate, because, you know, a lot of kids are very particular or, picky or, not exposed to certain things. I was really blessed growing up. My dad always told me, if you order something and you don't like it, we'll get you something else. We'll make it work, because he didn't want me to not be willing to try things. And also my dad, not unlike my husband, was pretty much willing to eat whatever. So, but the next day we've committed to doing morning sessions on Tuesday. And I had to explain to my daughter, that means that when there's no school, when you're on break, when you're in the summer, you still have these early morning sessions. Now, I'm hoping that over the summer we can adjust and try to get some earlier afternoon ice. Maybe she's got a kid that's away for the summer, and we can use that ice time. But obviously during the school year, I'm limited to how quickly I can get to the rink from when my kid gets out of school. And she wants her to have more ice time, which is understandable, and this is what we've settled on. So, it's funny, my daughter has discovered the egg bites at Dunkin' Donuts, and so she will skate, and she'll eat breakfast before she skates, and then say, hey, Mommy, can we get egg bites? And then she'll eat a whole order of egg bites on the drive to school. So that's been working for us right now. I told her, I said, we can make egg bites at home, so we're going to hopefully over break make a batch so she can put whatever she wants in it. And then the next day was Wednesday. We had a very rough morning. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We've been having more rough mornings than not. And I'm like at my wit's end because she gets so mad at me when I say, hey kiddo, I need you to go potty. I need you to put your dirty clothes in the laundry. Like literally not telling her to do anything that isn't her already everyday daily routine. Like every day is you wake up, you go potty, wash your hands, brush your teeth. You're supposed to put your dirty clothes in the laundry. Like we don't even have a laundry basket. It just goes right into the washing machine. And just having her do her basic things, some reason she just like loses it. And I'm like, what is happening that this is so difficult? And then I keep finding her sitting on the floor, playing, coloring, whatever. And we have a motto in this house. You have to do the things you have to do before you do the things you want to do. She knows it. She'll repeat it back to you, but she does not care. She, like this morning was a rough morning because she opted to sit on the floor and color after I had told her I needed her to get moving. And then she gets mad because then she goes, you're always rushing me to eat and get out the door. And I'm like, yeah, kid, because I wake you up an hour and a half before you have to go to school. And there's no reason that in an hour and a half, you shouldn't be able to go to the bathroom, wash your hands, brush your teeth, and get dressed and eat breakfast. Like, I'm not asking you to do anything difficult. You know, we're not doing schoolwork. We're not taking a shower. I mean, sometimes we're taking a shower, but sometimes that's a nighttime thing. It's just like, so she was big mad on Wednesday and she was screaming at me. And I was like, listen, mommy has errands to run. And I'm not going to, her school has a free breakfast program. And it's for everybody. It doesn't have to be for kids who may not be able to afford. It's for everybody. And I think it's great. And my child, the rule at home is she can go to breakfast any day she wants. She just has to eat breakfast at home first. I don't mind if she goes and she wants more to eat. But we're not going to do it as a replacement for breakfast. At least, you know, that has not happened. I'm sure one day in the future, there will be a situation in which we couldn't get breakfast on time. But that's the general rule of thumb. So I said to her, I am not going to reward you with going to breakfast with your friends for the way that you're behaving this morning. We have errands to run, so now we're going to go run them together. And she, of course, was super pissed because she wanted to go hang out with her friends and eat breakfast with her friends. And I said, well, we have to go to the post office. Mommy has to go to the bank. And I was able to do all of that in the morning before school, before the doors closed for her to be marked late. And I let her know I was really proud of her. Not for the way she behaved, but for the way she came around and how helpful she was while mommy was running the errands. There was no arguments at the post office, at the bank, because every single place that we stopped, I had to get her out of the car. My daughter is also in a car seat and not a booster, so it takes longer to get her in and out of the car seat than it would for a kid who's just clicking in their seatbelt. And before anyone says to me, your kid's 7, why is she in a car seat? My child is not big enough for a booster. And we will continue to do what is safest and best for our family, despite what other people think. And that's not a reflection to anyone. Nobody on YouTube has said anything to me about that. But I've had people in real life say it to me. And I'm like, she does not weigh enough for the bare minimum of a booster. And my child's safety will always trump convenience for mommy and daddy. Anyway, so we did all of that. And then after school, she had skating again. And then Friday, I'm just going to skip to Friday. I don't think we did anything exciting on Thursday. Friday was the last day of school before her birthday. So they sung happy birthday to her. They said her name over the morning announcements. She got like a special pencil, which she kept calling a hairy pencil. And I was like, there's like a troll doll kind of thing on the top of her pencil. It's a pencil topper. But to her, that is a hairy pencil. And I'm like, that sounds real weird, kid. Can we call it something other than hairy pencil? No. So anyway, Friday, she was beaming ear to ear when I picked her up because everybody sang happy birthday. She had a little sticker And, this is the closest to her birthday that she was in school, because last year her birthday was on Thanksgiving. So not only was she not there, but she wasn't there for a couple days before and a couple days after. And so for her, it was a really big deal. And I am one of those people. Are you somebody who likes when people celebrate your birthday publicly, or are you somebody who's embarrassed? My husband does not like when a restaurant sings to him. Me, I'm like, the louder the better. You want to have all eyes on me, and everybody that walks by is going to tell me to have a happy birthday. Yeah, I'm all for it. My daughter is also like that. She quite enjoys being the center of attention and having everybody wish her a happy birthday. And so it was wonderful. So after school, I said, because normally I pick her up and she has a snack. Either I provide it to her or we go home and she eats it. And I said, you want to go get a special snack? And she said, okay. So we went to a local bakery, and she opted to get a pumpkin pie cupcake. So the cupcake in the center had like pumpkin pie filling. But then on top of the pumpkin pie cupcake was a tiny piece of pumpkin pie that was about this big. It was the cutest thing ever. She devoured it. She really wanted like a special drink, so I got her. They had a peppermint hot chocolate. It had peppermint candies on it, so I asked them to keep that off because I knew that had artificial color in it. But the syrups that they used, they were good. So she was so excited, and I was just like, when did my little baby become such a big girl? It's such a weird thing, because, like, I know I've been gearing up for knowing that my kid is about to be 7, but, man, there's just something when they sit in front of you and you know this is the last day that they are this age. It's going to be totally different. It's never going to be the same as it is now. And even though she's the same exact child at 6 and 364 days as she is at 7, it's just, it's beautiful and heartbreaking all at once. And I love her so much. And I'm so happy to see, like, the beautiful young woman that she's turning into. I don't want to call her a young woman because she's 7, but, it's beautiful, and it's heartbreaking all at once, because the older she gets, the less she needs me for certain things. And I know she needs me for different things. But it was one of those moments. I just sat in front of her and I was like, you're beautiful, both inside and out. I love you to pieces. And so we had a really nice time together. And then, of course, we had a rough night, because what would my life be without bedtime and morning routines being disastrous? Anyway, the next day was her birthday. We had skating in the morning, and I had asked the skating director, because these were our Nutcracker practices, if it would be okay if I brought Munchkins and Capri Suns in. Now, there's a little girl that joined this class last week that is 2.5. The next youngest kid is like 6. So you have kids from 6 all the way up through like young adult. And so the skating director was like, yeah, absolutely, you can do that. So we usually get an hour of ice time and then a half hour of off ice. And the off ice is spent working on, like, running and doing off ice jumping. So if you ever wonder, how do they learn how to do those jumps? Well, they do them on the ground first. And then once they progress, they can do them on the ice. Or they can do them in a harness off ice and then a harness on ice. Anyway, so we were on the ice, and I was noticing, like, wow, there's no hockey kids. I think there was an early morning hockey game, tournament, something or other. But usually on Saturdays, while our kids are on the ice, they have a bunch of, usually, if I had to guess, 10 and under, maybe a 10U league, and they are usually pretty disruptive and impatient and loud. And I was like, wow, there's no hockey kids. And then I was like, wow, we're still on the ice. So the kids got to stay on the ice. I'm sure the rink, if they didn't want them there, would have said, hey, we need you guys off the ice. But the kids were on the ice for an extra, like, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Which is huge when you're working on something with choreography, that they get extra time. And then everybody came off the ice. One of the other moms said, hey, before you guys run off, can we all sing happy birthday to Briar? And she just lit up from ear to ear with everybody singing. And then I heard one of the other kids ask about off ice. And he said, we're not going to do off ice today. We'll just do this little birthday celebration instead. So it was really nice. She had a really wonderful time at the rink. Like, she always has a good time at the rink. But it was even more special because everybody sang to her. And then she got to have donuts with her friends and Capri Suns. It's funny. There's a little girl that we skate with who is also a first grader. I don't think she's 7 yet, but I could be wrong. And her grandmother does not speak English. And this poor kid, she translates everything from English to Russian for her grandmother. And so her grandmother was understandably confused as to why the kids were sitting there eating donuts and not getting ready to go outside. And so I had to tell her that this is going to be you guys instead of off ice today. And so she's like explaining it to her grandmother, and her grandmother's just nodding and smiling at me. And then I said, can you also let her know we don't have practice next week? And she's like, oh, okay. And the grandmother's looking at me, and it's terrible because, like, I would love to be able to communicate and explain what I'm trying to say to her. Because, you know, I have no idea what the little kid is saying. I just know she's telling her we don't have practice, but I don't know if the grandmother asked her, you know, why not, or when the next one is, or anything like that. And it's just because the holidays, I think. My guess is there's probably a hockey tournament, in all honesty. But, and she was so excited. She's like, can I have one of the donuts? I said, sure. And it was just nice to see the kids all get together and celebrate her at the rink, because we didn't have a birthday party. But after ice skating, we went and took her to a local restaurant. My husband and I had been to it recently together. It's a place that specializes in potatoes. So you want hand-cut french fries, you want pierogies, you want tater tots, you want baked potatoes. They have all of it. With a million different toppings, a million different ways you can get it. And then they also have smash burgers and cheesesteaks. Well, he got the smash burger the first time and was like, oh my gosh, Briar would love this. So we took her there to get her a smash burger, which she did love. And then the real magic of her birthday began. Now, I wanted to do something super special for her birthday this year. We were originally actually planning out a birthday party, but the constant arguing and poor choices and bad behavior made me change my mind. Now, I know there are people out there who are going to be like, that's so terrible, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, we do not live in a house that's meant for entertaining. So if we had a birthday party, it would 100% have to be out of the house. And I'm like, if we're going to spend that much money on something, I want it to be something that we know she's going to love and enjoy. And so we had gone back and forth with maybe taking her on a little, like, trip for a few days. But what we settled on was we were going to just do something special instead, locally, and let her have a special day. And also, keep in mind, my daughter has not had a birthday party since she was 2 because of when her birthday is. So it's not like she has birthday parties every year and we took it away from her before anybody's like, ah. And also, I'm the parent and I get to make the decision, and I'm not going to reward my daughter's bad behavior with a birthday party. Period. And it's one of those things, it's not just like a once in a while thing. It's a very constant, it's the same arguments every single day and the same poor choices being made pretty much on a daily basis. So anyway, what we decided we were going to do is we have a kid-size shopping cart. Ours is just a red plastic shopping cart. She has like a toy kitchen in her little play area that she's had since she was a toddler. And it's funny, my husband's like, we need to get rid of that. I'm like, she still goes in there regularly. Now, I think we might be getting to the point now where if we were like, hey, if we replace that and brought your nugget downstairs, she has a nugget couch, she'd probably be like, yeah, let's do it. But I digress. So what I said to my husband was, I've seen this done two ways. The first way is whatever you can carry, you can get. And the other is you fill a kid's shopping cart. So we both decided our daughter, she can't even like function carrying one thing without dropping something or tripping on something or losing something or something along those lines. So we got one of our small shopping carts, the only one that we have. We don't have a collection of them. And she took the shopping cart and this was all a surprise to her. Everything about this day was a surprise to her, just FYI. So we took her to Target and I said, Mommy and Daddy are going to explain a little bit here what's going on, and then we will go ahead and we will do it. So the rules were, if it fits in the cart, you can get it. The number one rule, no electronics. So no video games, no tablets, no smart devices, nothing like that. She's not a tablet kid, so I didn't think that was going to be something she was going to gravitate towards, but I also didn't want her to go, well, I don't have a tablet. This is what I could get. So we also said Mommy and Daddy each have the power to veto one thing, you know, in case she decided to pick something that was not appropriate. Or like for me, like I am a no slime household. So if my daughter picked a big slime making kit, I would have said no. And then we tried to convince her to not pick some of the high ticket items. I didn't want her to put like 4 $100 Lego kits in her cart and then be like, okay, I'm ready to go. So we went. She did a phenomenal job, you guys. We gave her a time limit and we also explained to her we need to work on making... It's really hard for her to make a decision and stick with it a lot of times. She's super indecisive and then she gets herself really worked up and like completely shuts down. And obviously we didn't want her to have a moment like that. But she went up and down the aisles. She picked not Barbie, but I guess, is it supposed to be Barbie's little sister, Chelsea dolls? She picked one of those. She likes the small ones because we have other toys that resemble that already. Mainly this doll named Zoe from Five Below that is missing a hand and a leg. And Brian was joking. He's like, is she harvesting this for parts? But she was very excited. It was a camping set. So her and her friends at school play a game called Campfire. I have no idea what it is, but she tells me every day, I played Campfire on the playground today. And so she was like, I can play Campfire with my baby. I'm like, yeah, cool. So she picked that. She picked this. She really likes a lot of those blind toys. So she picked one of them that had a cat inside. And then the cat would purr and there were stickers and just a couple things like that. The big ticket item for her, and when I say big ticket item, like it was like $25, but she went crazy for it. It was this live pet or pets alive bird that came in a cage and it sings and you can pet it and you can talk to it. It'll repeat you back. She was obsessed with that. She immediately was like, can I have that in the car with me? She then picked out a single Cats versus Pickle and another little blind item. She did not go crazy. She did not pick hundreds of dollars worth of toys. She picked, her big item was a bathtub for her 18-inch dolls, which she has been asking for a lot. And the bird. Those were like the big items that she picked. And the bird wasn't even big. It was, you know, but I also know that that might seem extravagant to some people to be able to go on a shopping spree for a birthday. But because we don't do the birthday parties, you know, we can be a little bit more flexible with things like this, because we ended up spending less money doing that than we would have for the birthday party that we were going to do, which, by the way, was just roller skating. It wasn't even a big thing, but it still would have been, everything's expensive nowadays, but, so we did that, and we let her know she has more surprises, and she knew that she got a fancy dress because I made her try it on with a blindfold because I wanted to make sure it fit. Well, we came home, we got to play with our one bird for a little while and try to take a nap. She took no nap, but the magic of the evening, this was what she was so excited for. So we went out to dinner, we went to P.F. Chang's, and they brought out like a bottle that had a sparkler in it. Oddly enough, they brought it out while she was in the bathroom. And they were like, oh no, where'd she go? And I'm like, she went to the bathroom. And, they were like, oh, I guess we'll do it again. I'm like, okay. So when they brought it back out, she was sitting there and she was very excited. And, we went to Lancaster. If you guys were here last year for my daughter's birthday, because her birthday was on actual Thanksgiving last year, she was really bummed that we didn't get to do anything special on her birthday. Well, the next day I took her for a little mommy and me trip down to Lancaster, and we went and saw a show at the Fulton Theater. Last year we saw Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Well, this year Frozen the musical was playing. So I spoke to my husband and he was like, let's do it. We were able to get gallery seats, which were like $30 a ticket. It was absolutely fantastic. My husband does not like heights, and so it made him a little nervous to be all the way up. But he was excited to take her, and we put her in her pretty dress, and her dress was very Elsa-esque. It was blue velvet, and then the bottom was a blue to white ombre with silver shimmer on it. It was beautiful. I got it from Amazon. She looked beautiful. She felt beautiful. She was so excited. We got to the theater early. They had all these Christmas decorations out, so she wanted to look around at like the trees and all the different things they had up. And then we got to take our seats. They had a backdrop, so she got to take some photos too. And I actually got pictures of her and Brian posing together, which were super cute. And then he got some pictures of me and her, which he still has those on his phone, so I haven't seen them. I imagine they are also just as cute. How could they not be, you know? But it was a great show. I think there were a lot of parents there. I think a lot of parents maybe did not realize that Frozen the Musical was like an adaptation of the movie. It's not an exact replica of the movie, and there's songs in it that were not in the movie. I don't think there were any songs from the movie that weren't in it, but she loved it. And we unfortunately couldn't get tickets for the earlier show, so we got tickets for the 8 o'clock show, which means that it started at 8 o'clock. It is already past bedtime at that time, but it's a special occasion. You know, we don't do this regularly, and we had a great time. So there was a little girl sitting in the row with us, and she is also in first grade, and her and Briar just started chatting, and they were like singing together and dancing around in the elevator. And They wanted to get the snacks together. It was very sweet. They were very cute together. Well, the second act of the show starts. And again, my husband and I, we have seats up in the gallery. If you're unfamiliar, there's like a couple levels of the theater. So you have like the stage level, which is your eye level with the stage. And those can be great if you are somebody who can see up high. So I don't even look at those tickets because I don't think she'll be able to see what's going on the stage. The next level, we decided next time maybe we'll try to get those because those seats, I wasn't sure how wide they were. My husband and I are both large people and I wanted us to both be comfortable. But the top one is the gallery, and that's where they do, like, their cheap seats. And that's where a lot of families with small children were, because I think, like many other families, they wanted to not spend a ton of money on a live theater experience, not knowing if their child was going to enjoy it, or if they were going to be disturbing the people around them. So the second act begins, and they sing like a song, maybe a second song, and then there is this commotion down on the lower level there. And my husband and I can see, because we're like bird's eye, you know, we can see everything that's happening down below. And unfortunately, somebody had fallen. I think what had happened was they missed their seat coming down and tripped and fell. They ended up face first on the ground. But we noticed they had them then laying on the back. And the whole time the play is still happening. And I said to my husband, they're going to have to call an ambulance. And it was shortly after that that they said, hey, actors off to the side stage. We have to turn on the lights. And I was right, because I assumed with the positioning that they had this person, that they had fallen in a way they wanted to make sure that they hadn't hurt their neck or their back. And an ambulance indeed was brought in, and they were taken off on a stretcher. But we sat there for, I think, like 45 minutes waiting for the show, for this to be finished. And I was explaining, because now the other little girl next to us is like, well, what's going on? And you know, explaining that we hope that whoever got hurt is okay. And honestly, the person that fell probably just wants to get out of there as quickly as possible and not have everybody continuing to stare at them. And that they're probably going to go to the hospital, make sure that they're okay. And at the same token, I now have a child who is, you know, hours past bedtime and totally bored, understandably, because, like, what else are you doing when you're in the theater? It's not like I had anything exciting with me. I didn't have any coloring thing. You know, I had nothing with me, because you don't expect that to happen. And the person was whisked away. And obviously, I hope that they are okay, and that if they sustain any injuries, they weren't serious, because, you know, that's a scary thing. And so by the time the show restarted is like close to when the show would have been over. So it was a very, very long night. It was a very adventurous night. My child absolutely loves musical theater. I saw they have Alice in Wonderland coming up soon, which my husband said, if you want to go, I'll put in the date and we can request off. And I was like, I would love to go. For anyone curious, off topic slightly, yes, Alice in a Winter Wonderland is happening again in January. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I host a diamond painting event called Alice in a Winter Wonderland. It is January 1st through February 14th. And it is any Alice or Alice in Wonderland themed kit. I will make another official announcement video for that. But you can check out previous videos. It's a good time. I will never require that you subscribe to my channel or that you follow me on Instagram or whatever to participate. I just want people who love Alice to meet other people who love Alice, or for people to work on those kits that they were like, you know, I wish I had the time for this one. And anyway, so we had a really great time. The next day, we decided to keep the festivities going a little bit. We had some brunch, which was great. And then we opened up the rest of the gifts because obviously with us going to the theater, we didn't have a whole lot of downtime. Well, turns out everything except for the bird that came with one, everything needed batteries that we didn't know. And we ended up having to go and get batteries later in the day. We just grabbed some pizza for dinner and grab some batteries and put the batteries in the cat. And then the cat started purring. It makes a very, like, one of the purrs is very, sounds very adult. And my husband and I just looked at each other and I was like, did we just hear that correctly? Indeed, we did. It was like, we're like, what is happening with this creepy cat? But it's only the one. And then, you know, it purrs and she loves it. And, she wants to have all the cats in the real world anyway. But it was overall, we had a really fantastic weekend celebrating our kiddo and all of the amazing things that she's brought to our life. And you know, I wouldn't have it any other way. She's, for better or worse, the reason that I am today, the way that I am. And she is just the light of my life, as well as the biggest pain in my butt. And there are many days where I'm like, I want to trade you in for a different model. And then there's other moments where I'm like, I can't imagine what my life would be like without her in it. Like, it would be so different. And I feel truly blessed that we have such a cool kid. She's just got the biggest heart, and she is just such a beautiful child inside and out. She has the biggest heart. She's such a kind soul. She's a good friend. She's learning how to use her voice and stand up for others. When like, she had a friend that was picking on a kid, and she said, he said he doesn't like that. You need to stop. And her friend did. And it's just, she questions the world in a way that is inquisitive and not infuriating. And she has a thirst for knowledge and just learning in general. She wants to learn all the things. She wants to know about animals and different cultures and different areas of the world. She wants to know about space. She wants to know about the dinosaurs. She just wants to know all the things. And I just love watching her learn and seeing her just grow into this incredible, incredible human being. And I'm truly honored to be her mother. And I think that's probably a good place for me to end. We're going to go see Wicked today after school. We were supposed to see it over the weekend, but I kind of dropped the ball. And then when I went to go buy tickets, they were completely sold out, like, everywhere. And I didn't want to get tickets for the late showing of the movie because it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I wasn't about to have another late evening the way we did for the Frozen musical. But, so it'll just be me and her today because my husband's at work, which I think is totally fine with him because I don't think that he even saw The Wizard of Oz before we showed it to her. Like, I think he said he never saw it growing up, which I was like, how have you never seen The Wizard of Oz? And this is coming from somebody who, I can't tell you how many movies I haven't seen and had people say to me, you've never seen that? How have you never seen that? If it's a mafia movie and it came out when I was younger, I've probably still never seen it. Just, like, I've never seen any of the Godfather movies. I've never seen Casino. I've never seen any of those. None of them. So, this is a good place to stop. But if you made it to the end, since I mentioned Wicked, leave me a bunch of, like, pink and green hearts. Have you seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts down below. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. But I'm going to get out of here. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come. Join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time. I guess I should probably change that. She's not a toddler anymore. And I record my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!